Hey, welcome to episode 165 of the Collector's Quest podcast. All right, in this episode, Collector's Quest, not the best on keeping on top of news. We are talking about the CMOS battery issues that affect the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, as well as of a week ago, PlayStation Network for the PS3 was shutting down. Since recording this episode, Sony has since reversed their decision to shut down PSN for PS3, but in the future, PSN for PS3 and PS4 and PS5, it will all eventually shut down. And eventually, your PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 discs will probably stop working in their original hardware once PSN shuts down for those as well. So this isn't an imminent issue, but we're going to be discussing the ramifications on collecting potentially coasters in the future for PlayStation consoles. And no, these games aren't going to be impossible to play, via piracy, via custom firmware, things like that. But what will the PlayStation Network in general have as an effect on collecting going forward? So tell your mom about the show, give us 5 stars in iTunes, and let's go. Back to another episode of Collector's Quest. I'm Tyler, here with Johnny and Stefan, the excited Johnny and Stefan, who are definitely not about to talk about work and how Tyler's depressed with coronavirus, and we're going to talk about something exciting. I've got a new puppy. He's maybe 7 to 12 years old and doesn't like me, but I love him. Puppies are cool.
Yeah, categorically false that it's a puppy, but that's fine.
Anything small is a puppy, Stefan. Hey, Stefan, what's going on in your life? Do you want to say the number 3 as an inexplicable joke? This isn't going to work as an intro. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Collector's Quest. I'm Tyler, here with Johnny and Stefan. Stefan, take it away, because I can't do this anymore.
What is happening?
I don't know. Tyler, are you feeling all right? What the hell just happened?
We have to keep all of that for context.
I don't... Wow. Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Collector's Quest. We've got an exciting new episode for you. Woo! Modern gaming. Who's excited to talk about things that happen in the modern gaming world? Anybody?
I mean, if there's one source that I would trust for things about PlayStation, modern PlayStation games and modern gaming in general, it's the Collector's Quest podcast. Those guys really know their stuff.
I have a Google Doc in front of me that says I'm excited to talk about it, so woo!
Yes, it's got big, excited language on there. I believe I put 3 exclamation points in the stage notes.
Wait, you think exclamation points just like grow on trees, Johnny?
No, we only have so many, and I thought 3 was the appropriate number.
You know what? Each exclamation point is now an NFT, so you only get one.
Topical. Are NFTs still a thing? By the way, my NFTs are back up to the value that I purchased them at. Very excited.
Yeah, I was gonna say that seemed to be a huge plummet, or at least that's what the internets has been telling me. That in the last couple of weeks, there's been a 70% drop on value across the board on those suckers.
Are you suggesting NFTs might be a fad that is a completely worthless string of numbers?
Look, I'm not suggesting that, but there are people on the internet whose content I am consuming that do say that.
Are you on my NFT YouTube channel?
No. Do you have an NFT YouTube channel?
No. You said that a little bit too seriously, and I'm concerned.
Look, you have a YouTube channel, which the most popular video is you jumping across a digital landscape. So
that is inexplicable, but yes.
Yeah. So, well, I'm glad you are not taking a bath on your NFTs.
I meant to bring this up on the show sometime during a "What are you buying?" segment. I wanted to talk about how terrible it is to buy an NFT. To be clear, NFTs are garbage, and I'm not investing in NFTs.
But you're talking about the process of buying an NFT.
Yes. So I was like, Atari has NFTs, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna buy a Quadra and JPEG. We're gonna see how it goes. So I already have cryptocurrency. Now I don't have any Bitcoin or anything. But when Bitcoin splits into 2 different coins, there's all these bullshit currencies that you just get if you have Bitcoin. So I had all of those sitting in my Coinbase account. So I have to transfer the shitty currency over to like a garbage exchange because Coinbase doesn't deal in like Atari NFT currency. So I have to go to the garbage exchange. And of course, there's like a transfer fee to transfer my crypto into something I can actually like move without paying fees. And then there's a withdrawal fee from Coinbase. So I get over to the shitty exchange and I exchange whatever I have, Bitcoin, gold, whatever like bullshit currency I have into wax. And of course, there's an exchange, so I lose a little bit of value on the exchange. I have to take it off the second exchange. There's like another $2 fee. Get like some nonsense wallet that you have to like scan a QR code to sign into websites. After like 2 different currency exchanges and 5 transfers, I was able to buy an Atari JPEG. And now I can't look at it unless I'm on a website. How much did it cost? They're like $2 each.
Okay.
That is literally the dumbest shit I've ever
It
heard.
is the dumbest thing. Yes.
So you could have purchased a physical copy of Quad Run for about the same price.
Oh, no, Quadran's like $1,000 game.
Is it really?
Yeah, Quadran's pretty rare.
You could tell me. I care so little about Atari. You could tell me whatever.
Oh,
and
man.
I would believe you.
Steve Voigt had programmed it. Mail order only game. Cool game. Very unique game.
Cool.
Anyway.
Cool.
I just wanted to see what the process is like, and it's fucking horrible, and it like makes no sense. And it's like, if you do it, you'll clearly see like, wow, this will never be a thing. Just like if you try to spend a Bitcoin, you're like, wow, this will never be a currency. This is a fucking horrible thing. And so part of the reason this is coming up again is because my mom, like 2 days ago, is like, TJ, what are NFTs? Should I be getting NFTs? And I'm like, oh my God, Mom, please, my inheritance. No, I can see it slipping away.
This isn't about you, Mom. This is about me.
Yeah, very much
my
so.
future when you are dead.
That's I can't believe your mom even knows what an NFT is. It's like she listens to the show.
She's got a boomer Bitcoin bro. I don't know how else to describe it. There is someone who is 60 to 70 years old in her ear, constantly hyping up cryptocurrency stuff and like telling her to like make like real investments into it. And it's like, Mom, no, don't buy $62,000 of Bitcoin. That is a highly speculative thing at a time in your life where you need to keep the money you have for retirement.
Yeah, that's
like if some
super weird.
25-year-old puts $20,000 into Bitcoin, that doesn't matter because they have a whole lifetime to make that money back up. You don't.
Yeah, what the? That's bizarre. All right.
Yeah, that's our cryptocurrency podcast hour. Better intro than talking about how we hate work and fish.
Well, I don't hate work.
Do you guys want to trade Atari NFTs?
I don't.
I mean, we would have to have some
idea if that's possible, or like, can I do that? I don't know.
Could you trade? All right, hear me out. Could you trade an Atari NFT for a fractional share of like a Mario game?
Ooh. Because
I think that would be that would just be worth, like, if that's possible. Like that's YouTube content for you right there, Tyler. like you're just like documenting your journey trying to trade an Atari NFT for a fractional share of Mario 3.
There is I don't there's one of these graded baseball card websites. They do have like like an NFT blockchain component, so that you like buy an NFT, but it's really a representation that you own like a physical copy of an item in a vault somewhere. So if like one of these video game fractional share companies is like NFTs, woo, I could try to trade an Atari NFT for a fractional share of Super Mario Brothers. 2 equally worthless things. I mean, anyone should make the trade.
Speaking of your YouTube channel, though, Tyler, did you hype your last video? Because I really, really like it, and I feel like it's
that was like a month ago.
I know, but I don't remember if you.
He hasn't been here.
You can go to my YouTube channel. There's an old video. I mean, I probably said it at the end of the episode when we say like, where can we find you?
I don't think you did.
Is that people listen to podcasts for the news, Stefan? No, and what's new? I feel like something's actually happening in video game collecting right now.
Yeah, this is the segue, Stefan. He's moving us on.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So, there's news.
Wait,
Hey,
it was a
guys.
seamless segue, right? We didn't have to interrupt the show or anything.
No. Hey, guys, just so you know,
Hey, Johnny.
and tell me if this is alarming to you, but the PS3, Vita, and PSP store are closing.
Oh, so the intro's over now, and now we're getting into the topic.
Those were the nuggets, if you will.
Curly fries.
Now you're getting into
perhaps?
the tenderloin.
Oh.
What?
Is that how that is that? I don't know that you know
No,
how,
I
the
don't-
anatomy of a cow.
Nuggets aren't on cows. Do you often have cow nuggets?
That's what I'm saying, because you transitioned from the nuggets into the tenderloin.
Chickens also have a
I'm fine.
tenderloin.
It's fine. I'm fine. Let's go.
That's where chicken tenders come from. It comes from the tenderloin.
Is that true? I don't even know if that's true. I mean, I can assume that that's true.
We'll see. Maybe I'm making it up. I could be totally
Maybe.
wrong.
Trying to get one over on me, Johnny, about chicken tenderloin.
I can't wait for you to go talk about chicken tenderloin. But yeah, that's
the
where
best
chicken
part.
tenders come from, is the tenderloin. That's a real thing.
Okay.
It's off the chicken breast.
Okay.
So yeah, but no one ever talks about it in that terms. We could talk about tendies and we could talk about tenders, but tenderloins on chicken, not so much. But yeah, if you want to know, yeah, every chicken has 2 tenderloins. They're pretty small, so you know.
We're getting dangerously
we need
into
to go.
boring food talk.
No, this is all gold, but we still need to go. Otherwise, I'm going to lose it.
All right, you've ruined a tender moment we had, but all right.
That was good. Yeah, dick. Oh, God.
Yep. All right. So, yeah, we're going to talk about these PS3, Vita, and PSP store closings. We're going to talk about PS4 coasters, and we're going to talk about what that means and what the hell is happening because the PS3, Vita, and PSP stores are closing. So, Tyler, what is happening?
Johnny, the PlayStation 3 PlayStation Network is shutting down. And okay, I didn't look at the price charts and timing. Are the PS3 price spikes like directly correlated to PS3 shutting down? The PSN shutting down?
Yes and no. So, there was already a spike in PS3 games due to coronavirus. Everyone, got that coronavirus bump.
Sure.
And then as news of PSN started to rumble, games started to spike a little bit. And over the last month, it's been going up, maybe even a month and a half back. And then right when the news broke, several games went to the moon.
Okay.
And just out of nowhere.
Makes sense.
And I don't understand the exact correlation for most of them, but people are just worried about PS3 games not being available anymore. I don't know if they know the full context of everything, but it is causing some panic buying, and PS3 prices are going to go up. And what happens when every rise, there's not going to be this huge crash where it all comes back down to whatever price was. The price memory is not going to fall that far. So they might recede a little bit from here, but right now we're still going to the moon.
Yeah. And I mean, the whole thing with the prices, it could just be that people are thinking about PSN shutting down, okay, all those digital games I won't be able to play anymore. Oh, what if there's other PS3 games I want to play in the future? All these games are relatively inexpensive. They used to be almost worthless. Now they're $10 to $30. But, it's people who may have been focusing on collecting PS2 or SNES might be oh, let me just grab all the PS3 stuff I need right now while it's cheap and I don't have to think about it because I'm thinking about it right now because PSN just shut down.
Yeah, PS3, go ahead.
I have a question to pose to you two. PSN is shutting down. What is an exclusive PS3 PSN game that is going to be lost when PSN shuts down?
Fat Princess.
Shut up. No, Johnny, stop. Can you really think of... So, to be clear, Best of PlayStation Network Volume 1 has Fat Princess on it.
Yes, I know.
I know. I didn't know if our viewers understood your stupid joke.
Okay, fair.
I got one.
Okay.
Well, you got one.
Echo Chrome, right? That's a thing?
Okay, Echo Chrome. Man, talk about bringing back a game from 2008 that maybe someone remembers. Yes, you're right. Also, Trash Panic is another, I think, true PSN exclusive. Maybe there's like another puzzle game, but like
I bet you that. Let's see. I bet you there is a Tetris game.
probably a
I bet
Tetris
you that. Not even thinking about it. I bet you there's a Ratchet and Clank game.
So Ratchet and Clank Quest for Booty came out in Europe. Doesn't count. Came out physically in Europe.
Ooh. Nope, that's all my crystal ball's got. But
so Siren Blood Curse, that came out in Europe and Japan too, physically. That doesn't count. Braid, that's physical everywhere. Like Journey, physical everywhere. There's other whatever. I'm saying that these games have been ported and released physically. Tokyo Jungle is the big one. It's released physically. Like the PSN is shutting down. It's not like anyone was ever going to go to PSN again to buy Tokyo Jungle. If you were going to play Tokyo Jungle in 2021, you're not going to be like, oh, let's go to the PlayStation Network that might not exist in a year and pay full price for it. You were going to buy the Best of PlayStation Network Volume 1 for $20 and just get the physical copy of it.
Except that's no longer $20. It's now like $150.
Yeah. PSN shutting down had no bearing on where people would have gone in the future to get Tokyo Jungle. That's why this is the craziest thing to me. They're acting like they're acting almost like it's a limited run game where it's like, okay, we've taken this history and preserved it for only 2,000 copies. This was a mass-produced game. They already did the thing. They took the digital thing and they made it physical. It already happened. It exists. They're out there. They sold them. They were in stores. Johnny, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Well, here's part of it, right? So you mentioned this very briefly, that people are thinking about PS3 games. I mean, that's all it requires, right? It just requires people to like have a reason, and people just need permission. And it doesn't matter if the permission is based in reality or anything. They just need permission, right? And now they have a reason and permission. Oh, it's closing. I got to go get this stuff. Oh man, I was thinking about PS3 stuff. I should go buy this. When really the best time to buy PS3 stuff was actually right before coronavirus. That was the time to be buying PS3 stuff. Now is probably the wrong time.
Isn't it supposed to be the dirt console right now? Come on. What's going on?
I mean, not really. Now it's supposed to be collectible because now we're 2 out.
No, video games are the new world currency.
PS4,
all video
PS5.
games are collectible.
Also, the PS4 has got to be like PS3. I think you could collect for. PS4 is going to be a nightmare. PS3 has a lot of like weird stuff, like limited run stuff. I think there's not too much limited run stuff. I think they did. No, I think they did Abe's Odyssey.
Yeah, something got PS3.
Are you sure?
For no reason.
I feel like I
they
just
do
talked
that
to someone about
No,
this.
they totally do that.
So yeah, I mean, I'm sure we could check. It's not that relevant, but yeah, man, PlayStation 3 prices are going to the moon, and we have some, we have some examples. If you are the type of people who are looking to cash in on this stuff, we made just a little list. I really don't understand why 3D Dot Hero is exploding all over the place, but like maybe it also got some good press. Like also these games are in the
that's just like a PS3 exclusive. It's like not like a hidden gem, like everyone knows about it, but it's a thing that would appeal to collectors, obviously.
Yeah, I mean that was a game I bought day one actually, so I was surprised to see it like super expensive. So
Johnny is correct, by the way. Both Oddworld New and Tasty and Oddworld Stranger's Wrath got PS3 releases.
I'm the worst. I don't know what I was talking about.
Yeah, my limited run knowledge is unparalleled.
That's right.
So, I mean, I actually hope it's paralleled. I hope it's very bad, actually. I hope
there's someone else out there that has as much knowledge as me.
Yeah. Yep. So let's talk about some of the games. Stefan, why don't you run down like some of the other games besides 3D Dot Hero, Game Heroes, which went from a $40 game, which is like it's been steadily rising anyways, but then all of a sudden went from like 40 to crazy pants $130.
I minimized it. I have too many windows. There's too many windows, Johnny. Where
you've got too many.
I have like three cascading tabs of like 1,000 windows, and I can't find anything, and I'm stalling so I can find this thing.
Well, you could just let me say that PlayStation Network, our Best of PlayStation Network, went from 20 to like 120 now, which is stupid. But all right, yeah, like I guess. So if you see games like this, if you are able to go out to your local game store, you might find some deals right now, because I don't know how quick local game stores are catching up to this news.
That's right.
So, there might be some deals.
I've had this list in front of me the entire time.
Yes,
but some of the other games besides 3D Dot Hero, the best of PlayStation Network that's gone from 20 to 120. Good lord.
Johnny, don't say anything. I'll just keep that in.
Excellent.
I'm just rattling off. Should I go from the bottom?
No, just keep going.
Folklore, that went from 30 to 90. Persona 4 Arena, 20 to 40, and Ultra Mix from 60 to 100.
I'm sorry, is Persona 4 Arena Ultra Mix a game? I actually don't know this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
$100 for that's a Persona 4 fighting game? $100 complete in box?
Well, Persona 4. That's them Persona people.
Yeah, but it's so popular. Ravenous. I would have imagined that there are enough copies out there. Like, I don't know, like Folklore, like I've heard of Folklore, but it's like a JRPG that wasn't like Persona 4 popular.
I also got Folklore. I got it from my mother-in-law for Christmas. And I was like, oh, yeah. Like, it was on my Amazon list at the time.
Okay, I thought you just randomly gave it to you.
No.
I was like, what?
I mean, it would have been an awesome grab. No, I was interested in playing it. And I was like, I'm going to get around to playing this one day. Never did.
That's
and
okay,
Stefan, you can appreciate the joke because she would ask me about it, right? She'd be like, oh, how's that game? And I'm like, I haven't got to it yet, but I'll get there soon. Don't worry. I'll tell you. And then she died.
Jeez.
Yeah. So we never got to have that conversation.
Does that weigh on you, Johnny?
Yeah, it does. It doesn't weigh on me, but I have thought about it. Like, oh man, I never did get to. This is a callback joke to some black humor Stefan and I share back and forth. Yeah. Anyways, continue with the list, Stefan. Tell us more.
Sure. Are you sure you don't want to talk more about your dead mother-in-law?
Yeah, let's talk about these experiences I never got to have with my mother-in-law. So, right.
Or I could tell you about Puppeteer. That's gone.
I was going to... No, hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Because, my mother-in-law and my wife were very close.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it was a pretty big tragedy for the family. And, we have our son now, but she never got to meet him.
Stefan, just Johnny's doing this thing. Just continue.
Johnny, did I ever tell you about the time my wife died? Is that a story I've told before?
I met your wife once. Twice. Yeah.
My puppy bites me sometimes.
This is the fastest way directly to making Tyler feel awkward.
Yeah, we're doing it. And the whole audience, everyone is out now. We've sucked all the energy out of this.
There's a significant portion of the audience who understands you and I, and we're at least probably on the border of I think that they're doing a bit right now. And they probably weren't all the way out by the time we reeled them back in and said,
"Yeah, I mean, come on back, guys, come on back. I'm not going to talk about my dead mother-in-law or Stefan's dead wife anymore. We're going to talk about games. I know that's and people are like, oh man, how could they make light of any of this stuff? Because if you can't laugh about tragedy, you're doomed to be destroyed by it.
That's right.
All right.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. All right, Puppeteer went from 30. Is that true? $30 to $150.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of receding a little bit, but there is a $150 sale out there for a Puppeteer. It's really obnoxious.
Ooh, that is obnoxious. What was the? Do you know what the cadence or the time between?
It was in the last 3 weeks. It was PlayStation Store closed. Boo to the moon.
Dogecoin. Silent Hill Downpour, 20 to 60. Modest.
Yeah,
it's funny
about
the stuff the stuff that seems genuinely good seems to be getting smaller bumps.
Yeah, well, Silent Hill, the rest of the Silent Hill games didn't really get that bump. They're starting to see it now, but Silent Hill Downpour got the biggest bump quickest. So I don't know why that happened. Maybe it's because it's an exclusive. No, because I think Downpour's on Xbox. Yeah, I don't know.
Shadows of the Damned, $20 to $100.
Yep, that was a nothing game forever.
I've never even heard of that game.
Yeah, it's don't bother.
Johnny, you know who else hasn't heard of this game? Never mind, I'm not going to do it.
Hold on, Stefan, who?
My dead wife.
No one.
All right,
Tyler.
Splatterhouse went from 50 to 80.
Yeah. That was a game that was $10 for a long time and was climbing, and then like PlayStation Madness hit everybody.
Yeah. Spider-Man: Edge of Tomorrow. Actually, those are some decent games. Actually, the PS3 Spider-Mans.
Yep.
Spider-Man: Edge of Tomorrow, 20 to 60, and Spider-Man: Shattered Dimensions, 20 to 60.
Amazing Spider-Man also had a very similar bump. All the Spider-Man games took a bump. I don't know if that's just like Marvel stuff too, and then with this, so yeah.
Let's look at prices for Ultimate Fallout 4, and I'm sure like tripling in price won't seem like much of a bump.
Probably. Anyways, so if you're looking at PlayStation games, like just keep your eye out in the game store when you're around these. Man, like how much of the audience did we lose? Do you think?
None. I don't think. I think they're all on it.
Are you all still here for it?
I think so. I think so.
Are there like Sega or Nintendo games coming up that we're going to talk about?
No. Like that's So we're giving everybody like the double whammy here. We're like modern games, not Nintendo. Dead family.
And
people are like, I don't. Why do I listen to this show? NFTs. Like
That's
dead
the title.
Currency.
That's the title of this episode. PS4, dead family members, and NFTs.
Yeah. Which one of these is worse? My vote is NFTs, guys.
Yeah, but you know what? The important part is we're having fun.
Yeah.
Having fun.
Woo. Tyler, do you want to tell them the bonus pick or shall I just continue?
The bonus pick, which we have no pricing information for, is House of the Dead Overkill Extended Cut.
Do you know why it's the bonus pick?
Why is it
the bonus pick? Do you know why? Because people are all about that House of the Dead remake that's coming out soon, which you've already commented on. So there was like a PSN House of the Dead that you could play, but this is the only like PlayStation House of the Dead or PlayStation 3 House of the Dead. So you can still kind of find new copies for like $18 to $20 right now. So I'm saying if this is a game you care about, I would buy it now, not when that remake comes out or not further into PlayStation fever times.
And why don't we have
that's
pricing
why
information?
It's $18. $18
Honestly,
new, $18.95.
Like, if you're ever going to care about modern stuff, just like buy all the actual exclusives, like all the Sony developed Sony games, even if like God of War, like it's going to be common forever, whatever. Figure out what version of that you want and buy all of that.
Yeah.
I don't know what, like Spider-Man, like a lot of these are exclusives that we just talked about. I don't know, Silent Hill Downpour, that seems like it's probably on Xbox and it's just up because it's a horror game. But like Puppeteer, that was made by Sony, right? Or like
it's an exclusive.
Japan studio and it's Sony exclusive.
Yeah, it's an exclusive.
Yeah. Folklore too. Like just buy exclusives, guys. Exclusives are the only thing that make consoles interesting.
Yeah, Folklore is like an earlier released as well, so it's like an early release exclusive. You should Tyler's right though. If you are looking at PlayStation games and you're like, "Man, I really want to collect this. What should I buy?" Buy the exclusives. Go get your Heavy Rain. Go get what's the other one? Beyond. Is it just called Beyond? The one with
Beyond Two Souls. Are these exclusives?
Yeah, Beyond Two. No, the one with like Elliot Page now.
Good on you. I was waiting to correct you, Johnny, but you didn't. You have faith.
I don't care what people want to be called. They want to be called Elliot? Cool. They're Elliot now. I don't give a shit. So yeah, go check that game. Is it just called Beyond? There's like a steel book of it, but it's an exclusive.
Beyond
That's my point. Thank you. Yeah, so go buy your exclusives. Also, Heavy Rain, there's a difference between the first print and the second print. So look out for them first prints. Play
Heavy Rain, having not played Heavy Rain?
No.
Yeah, Heavy Rain.
No.
Yeah, I like Heavy Rain.
It's fine.
So I really enjoyed Detroit. I don't know if that has any bearing on it, but it's the same dude, right?
Yeah, I believe so. But this is more artsy than that. But it's narrative. It's like pretty much just a narrative, like click and find.
Yeah.
I feel like, so there's a part in the beginning where I'm just going to spoil the first 1 minute of Heavy Rain. You lose your son in the mall and you press X to say, Sean! Or is that the end of the game? Anyway, there's a bunch of pressing X to say Sean in that game, and it's kind of a modern gaming meme that you should play to understand.
Tyler, what would you suggest that you press to say Sean? Because clearly it's an important game mechanic.
Shut up, Stefan. Johnny, I want to go back to this House of the Dead thing. You said we already commented on House of the Dead remake. What are you talking about?
No, I said I'm sorry. You mentioned it. You had made a post about it on our Discord. So you had already talked about it.
So,
So
to be clear, there's a House of the Dead 1 remake coming out. And I never realized this. House of the Dead 1 was never ported to anything modern. What's the most recent thing it's on? Is it Sega Saturn?
yeah, Sega Saturn.
Which is a terrible version of the game. There might be like a PC version. I don't remember. But
maybe in Japan on Dreamcast?
No, because one of the reasons... No. I feel like no. Because Typing of the Dead is House of the Dead 2. And if there was a Dreamcast version, there would be a good version of it at home already. And there isn't. And I've never thought about this because my local arcade, wherever I've lived, has always had a specifically House of the Dead 1 machine. So that's the game. That's one of my go-to games anyway. And I've never needed a home port. So I guess it's okay. Like, the reason that this is coming up is because I disparaged it the first time I saw it. Because you look at it and it's like, great. Instead of playing House of the Dead with the House of the Dead graphics, now I can play them with graphics that look like they're up-resed from the Wii. Awesome. But I guess if there's no way to play House of the Dead, then it's fine that they're remaking it. And also, the one on PSN is House of the Dead 4, I think, which is a good House of the Dead game. Cool.
Yeah, it is. Because it's a good House of the Dead game, and it's also not easy to find in an arcade.
Oh, it's a huge game. It's like a Dave and Buster's you got to go to play that. Oh, but it's like out of date. So like, oh my God, there's like a whole era of games, like the Dave and Buster's games of like the later 2000s. Like when those go out of style, where do those go, Johnny? The dumpster?
Probably, well, the dumpster. The cycle is the dumpster and then limited run. That's how it goes.
I mean, but there's like all these like weird raw thrills games.
I was just doing it for the joke. I don't
even understand. God, shut up, Johnny. Anyway, I'm just telling everyone to shut up. You don't get the
joke? This is a big joke show for us, Tyler.
Ah! Yeah. I just want to talk about PlayStation games.
Look, if I can't make a disparaging joke against that company, where am I supposed to do it, Tyler? Not here, then where?
What are we supposed to be making disparaging jokes about? Our dead relatives?
Yeah. You want us to talk about that again?
Should I buy that limited run Doom thing that's coming out? It's like $200 or something. That's ridiculous. I'm not buying it.
I got my Dark Crystal limited run box collector's edition. Yeah. I'm a little bit disappointed.
Don't talk about it yet. Talk about it. There's a whole part of the show where you talk about that.
And now we're on to the second part of the show.
We talk about modern games. It fits right in there.
No.
Fine.
Another reason you should buy House of the Dead Overkill is because horror games never go out of style. They are always cool.
They never do. And it's got like a pretty interesting cover. Though, Tyler, you'll appreciate this. Japanese cover, slightly better.
Ooh. Well,
you know why? Because it's got the original House of the Dead font and it's red instead of ugly, just like black and white generic font.
House of the Dead Overkill was not my favorite House of the Dead, though, Johnny. Was that a Wii game first? Am I remembering this like a crazy person?
You are. Yep.
Everyone's favorite of the Dead game should be Typing of the Dead. Hands down.
That's pretty cool. John,
good game.
I would like to put some of the crazy prices that we've seen into perspective. Although, to be clear, this all happened in like the last month. But past year, stock market's up like 25%. Other collectibles, like games, seem like they're going crazy, but like games are nothing compared to comic books and some other crap out there.
Your hobby means nothing.
Everything is all-time highs. Like the consumer price index is like inflation a big thing. Like I don't know if like groceries and stuff are costing all that much more yet. Certainly not keeping up with the pace of collectibles.
They are costing more, but they aren't costing 50% more.
Yeah.
Or even 20% more.
Everyone just wants to put their money into anything that's not the US dollar because they're like, oh my God, the money printer's going burr. I need anything but money right now. And Puppeteer on the PlayStation 3 is an asset of choice for the sophisticated investor. I almost said collector. Forgot, we're not collectors anymore. We're investors.
Did that happen officially?
Yes.
I didn't get a letter.
Sorry, did you not get the
I actually bought something that made me an official investor, Johnny, which we'll talk about in the second part of the show.
Johnny, if you didn't get that email, you should check your junk folder.
Oh, sorry. I'll check my spam.
I'm pretty sure you were on the Video Game Shadow Illuminati distribution list.
You know what? The problem is I have Mark like whitewashed, so it doesn't sometimes get through.
Yeah, I got it.
So I just
go on. You need to edit that out. You cannot keep that in here.
I don't know what you just. I didn't understand what you said.
Why don't you get jokes? Why doesn't he get jokes, Stefan?
I'm trying, Johnny. I'm trying to hold this podcast together.
It was such a basic joke.
Mark whitewashed? What?
What? No, God, Stefan.
I have to edit out me not understanding your joke because then I'll just seem dumb.
Yeah, just edit in you going, that's funny.
I'll change my laughter.
I will edit that post haste. We wouldn't want the Shadow Illuminati information to get out.
I thought Stefan was actually forwarding you an email, and it was going to end up being a dead white
the
joke
Shadow
inside
Illuminati?
the email.
You thought he was sending me? This is what goes on in your head.
That's an actual distribution list that I have in my email.
I thought that part was a joke, but it wasn't a good joke.
No, it was a great joke.
Nice defense. I didn't get it because it wasn't a good one. Shut up, Tyler. God, man. Come on.
I've never heard Johnny so disappointed.
Lord knows I have.
Yeah, you have. All right.
My point with prices is that everything is on fire right now. I have no idea when it's going to end. Like, every time I see something, I'm like, this has to be it. We are at peak craziness. Someone spent $50,000 on a Pokemon Sapphire. I brought that up multiple times. I might have brought that up last week because it's just the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. Where's the peak? I know it's not going to plummet back down to normal, but like, everyone seems like a genius right now. If you buy anything, it's like, oh, it's worth twice as what it was 2 months ago. But that's everything right now. So
yeah, the joke used to be, I would make when people would say, "Oh, when was the best time to get into collecting?" I'm like, "Oh, well, yesterday, the past, years ago, that was always the best time." But now, like I used to say years, but now it's literally every day is yesterday. Every day it's like yesterday. Why does the price keep moving so rapid? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how, like, when I'm thinking about a game, like I get these like major FOMO spikes now when I'm like, should I just click buy it now? Or so it's like, if I ever think I'm ever going to want this thing ever, if I don't purchase it right now, it is going to cost me more money. And that has been true for over a year. And I don't understand.
It's rough. There was this sweet, beautiful period in like 2017 to 2018 where it's like, guys, games are plateauing. We can all just calm down. And then
buy the stuff
Dennis
you want
Kahn
and don't worry about it.
Fucking Dennis.
Should we blame Dennis?
Absolutely.
I don't
He's
know
on
that.
Pawn Stars, Johnny.
All the time now.
Regular on Pawn Stars.
I mean, is that something we hold against him?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's weird.
Even, like he goes on there and he'll on Atari games. I don't care. Dennis is on Pawn Stars. I'm blaming him for my problems.
Yeah, he's not the guy who spent $600,000 on a Mario.
Johnny's got a point. Of all the things we could hold against Dennis, that's not near the top of the list.
It's mostly his age, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
And
the fact that he was like a better collector than you, that he bought all the stuff that was relevant and important first, and then like knew to do this as like a teenager and as a child. I mean,
and really, made his dad buy it all. So like, that's not even really,
and like
smart of him.
most of he was too young to drive. So that means he was also chauffeured around. Some bull, Dennis. Yeah. Dennis Kahn, screw you for taking advantage of your parents and of the situation and being right. Yeah.
Being right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't listen to the show, but this one I'm definitely going to send him specifically. Be like, if you're going to listen to a show, listen to this one.
No, yeah. Come for the show, stay for the dead family jokes.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. All right. So what else is going on? Tell me more about what's going on in the collectible markets.
is the PlayStation 4 going on in the collectibles market? This is breaking news. And by breaking news, I mean like past 3 weeks, which is like totally breaking for the Collector's Quest podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's not really the most important part. The discussion we're going to have about what this means is more important than the breaking.
Yes. So a popular topic has been the PS4 is going to... all your PS4s are going to be bricked in a year. Because if your CMOS battery runs out, which is the battery that keeps track of your clock inside the console, and the time gets reset, and your console can't go and connect to PSN to get the current time, it's going to think the time is, I don't know, probably like 2012 or something.
No, it's going to think it's 0.
Or 0, sure. Whatever it thinks time.
Y2K!
1970. And it's going to say, oh... all of your licenses don't work anymore. You can't play any of your digital games, and you can't play any of your discs because the DRM on the discs requires that the PlayStation clock is synced.
Yes, but what is that? That's not exactly right? So people think it's the de novo copyright, but what it actually is, the actual error that happens, because your games, let's say your battery dies, right? And the clock is reset, the kernel goes to 0, and you're like, oh, okay, server's no longer there for whatever reason. You put in your disc will begin to load. But here's what happens after that. It checks for the trophies to load, right? And it needs the server to do that. It can't ping the server to find out about the trophies because all of the trophies need to be secured by date. So this whole problem, this dumbass engineering problem, is to protect the integrity of trophies which don't matter. This is why this happened. So you could say it's planned obsolescence or just bad design. Don't blame trophies in general. Like, please blame bad engineering. So what it goes and does is the disk tries to check for trophies, fails, gives you an error code, and that error code, I didn't write it down, but it will be like, nope, because there's a different error code for the CMOS battery being dead. And then there is a specific code that you'll get if you try to load a game after all of that. And that error is a trophy error. And that's why, because they don't want you messing around, or like the idea was, oh man, we can't let people say they got trophies early by messing around with their clock. So we'll install this battery and this clock to this battery, which will make sure to protect the integrity of trophies. No date shenanigans here.
And so that's the reason, because it's linked to trophy security, you can't just replace your CMOS battery when it runs out and set the date and time. Because the whole idea is that the console doesn't trust the date that you actually set on your dashboard or whatever. It only is going to trust the time from PSN. So once PSN goes down, it's not going to load your games and it's not going to load discs. Cool.
How long do you think before someone comes up with a tech to allow you to replace the battery without losing power to the system?
That's not the problem. So you can replace the battery without losing power to the system. But it still wants to check that the PSN time is there before it launches a game. Well, so, I mean, Stefan, so technically you're right. If they shut down PSN and your battery is still alive and you were able to replace it without losing power, yes, it would still launch your games because it would have never lost the time. Sure. But people are just going to install custom firmware. No one is going to bother with that nonsense.
Yeah, that's part of it, right? Like, so the big solution, it's all over YouTube. So if you guys feel any of this panic, like, oh my God, all of my PlayStation 4 games are coasters, and I've made the joke that they're not. You're fine. All the data is still on the disc. You're going to be okay. You know why? Because one, Sony could fix it with a software patch, like pretty easily. They probably won't because they're Sony, and they don't care about this. This is not like really in their wheelhouse to fix. But you can just jailbreak your system. It's not that big a deal. You can jailbreak your way around this. People are already doing it. The CMOS battery can be replaced if you're worried about it right now. Like I said, it dies within 10 to 12 years. So a lot of them are dying soon anyways. So, and a lot of this was tested out and bore out this information, like specifically was by a guy named Lance McDonald. He's like a big modder, like a super modder, and he's on Twitter. So you can go find him. I just want to credit our sources. Also, Twitter username Forrest did some demoing of what it actually looks like when the CMOS battery fails. And you can see, when it fails and it can't reach the server, you can see what happens, if you want. So go find him and you'll find a YouTube video by looking at that. Go ahead.
One of the things you said is that Sony's probably not going to fix that, which just intuitively I would think like, yeah, of course they're not going to fix that, planned obsolescence, all that. I feel like PSN's getting shut down. So if the same thing happened for the PS3 right now, so to be clear, PS3 is not affected by this. You can still play all your PS3 and PS1 and PS2 games on a PS3. But if PS3 was about to lose the functionality to read discs, I feel like there would be a pretty big uproar against Sony. And they would patch it and fix it.
Maybe.
Like, I feel like, so if it's like 10 years from now and they're trying to shut off PS4, I think there would be enough of an outrage that it would kind of force them to fix it. Or like there would be like a class action lawsuit. Sony's preventing me from playing all the games I bought. Like someone would figure out something, even though I'm sure all your games are like, oh, it's just a license to play the game. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know how legal things work.
I'm sure there's a bunch of legalese, like you said, but this is always a race to, you don't own your stuff. This is just a long-term rental.
Yes.
Like that's, and I hate that kind of stuff. And we'll get into some of the other points, but you could also play your PS4 games on a PS5. That is a solution. Just so you guys know.
What about in 30 20 years when that shut down, Johnny?
The PS10.
Yeah, well, who knows? Sony isn't great at doing backwards compatibility, so who knows? It seems crazy to me that these computers these systems are more powerful than computers I had 5 years ago, which could emulate PS1 games and PS2 games. So, like, why is this a problem for these consoles? Just like, I'm sure someone figured it out. I'm sure they could do it. They're a bunch of smart engineers.
Different architectures, Johnny. That's not how emulation works.
Because of communism.
It is how emulation works, that the software is powerful enough that you can create emulation for it. And then they've proven it because they've done it on like almost every other system after time, right? Like,
they're similar. God damn it. Anyway, all the Xboxes are just perfect computers. PS3 is like a cell processor. What the is a cell processor? I don't know, Johnny.
Okay. Well, it's probably in the same wheelhouse as blast processing.
Processor made out of the guy from Dragon Ball Z. It's a cell processor.
Thank you.
All right. I will be here for the rest of the podcast. Thank you.
See, it was a bad joke, Johnny. I didn't laugh. I don't have to respond to everything Stefan says.
Yeah. Tyler, I wrote a joke specifically for you in this episode, Doc. I don't know if you saw it.
Am I supposed to be writing jokes for the show? What did you write? Did I miss it?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and highlight it in the episode, Doc, before we go into the conversation about this.
Oh, I thought you literally copy pasted an article and this was like the last line of the article. And it was just Johnny kept that in for some reason.
No, I wrote this all myself. I did not lift this from anybody. Jesus, what kind of integrity do you think I have? I don't copy.
Johnny copy pasted into our episode, Doc, and you thought those battery issues on the Amiga were bad, which is a reference I don't understand because I don't own an Amiga.
But you're an old person. You should know.
I don't know anything about Amiga hardware. I've looked into getting Amiga hardware, and it always seems too big and too inconvenient.
Or maybe he did know, and he doesn't anymore because he's senile.
Yeah.
What's that?
He's Benjamin Button past it.
Oh, God. There's a PCB
I don't know.
that has a hidden battery. So there's a fake ROM chip on the board. And if you like literally Dremel into the chip, there's a battery hidden in the chip. Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't know if it's a console or an arcade game, something like that.
Which ones? The ones that have like the kill switches in them?
No. So those, you're probably thinking of the Capcom CPS suicide batteries, which look like giant capacitors almost. But there's
what are you talking about?
There's some like board with a very similar battery. It might be a suicide battery. And so there's this like a thick fake ROM chip on the board to hide the fact that there's a battery in it. It was like a copy protection measure. So if you like tried to copy the ROM chips, it would be disconnected from power and they would erase themselves. but it's hidden inside a ROM chip and you have to Dremel it out. It just looks like the worst thing ever to replace it. I'm probably thinking of an arcade game and I was watching like a YouTube video. Anyway. And you thought those battery issues on the Amiga were bad, right?
I could have also left it as Commodore 64.
Are there battery issues?
Yeah.
More issues with people breaking their SID chips because they're like unplugging stuff while it's powered on and that zaps the SID somehow. And those SID chips are so expensive and there's Chinese fake chips. Man, Johnny, thank God there's so many Commodore 64s.
Yeah, thank you for... thinking that I have no integrity and I just like lifted an article and made it an episode of Collector's Quest. Thanks for that. Thanks for not acknowledging when I put in jokes specifically for you. Cool. That makes me feel good. Man, I was having a better time talking about our dead family, Stephen.
You know what? So was I.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I felt more...
Johnny, if you're feeling sad, there's a place you can go on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And where else?
The Collector's Quest Discord, patreon.com/Collector's Quest. Pirates of Dark Water rules.
Yeah,
and,
that's true.
People will post, like not us and not the people listening to the show, just random people on the internet will be posting Pirates of Dark Water stuff for you.
Who are genuinely sad about Pirates of Dark Water.
Yeah, so the best thing about that the Facebook one and why I didn't delete it, like when I made the Patreon, is that people actually use it now. Like
it's now like a legitimate it's just a Pirates of Dark Water fan group now.
Yeah, they don't understand that it was.
They have no idea that it was a joke.
Yeah, I mean, like it's great and I enjoy the show and everything, but their context is totally lost on it. It started as something else completely, and I love that. I love that a lot.
No, it's the best. Yeah,
yeah. I don't know how we got so lucky that it stuck around. So, yeah, hooray. Also, if you do decide and you want to be a pirate, I know several of our listeners want to be a pirate, you can come join us on that Patreon at the $6 level and talk about it. Anyways, enough Patreon. Let's talk about what this PS4 stuff means for collecting, because a similar thing happened, the PlayStation Store, right? Like that PlayStation Store closing on PS3 drove collecting. Do you think this is going to drive PS4 collecting people, or do you think it's going to have this reverse effect now that people are terrified they can't play their PS4 games, that no one wants to collect it? Or does it matter even? Like, because how many collectors are actually playing their games? Guys, Stefan, tell me what you think about this.
I did see, I have, being the one of us that frequents Twitter, I have seen a lot of talk around like a shift in brand loyalty over this. The idea of, well, if PlayStation isn't going to care about me or my games, then I will go to Xbox. Take that,
I want to just
Sony.
Insert something real quick. Don't be loyal to a company. Companies don't care about you. They're like, PlayStation, Sony, and Nintendo don't care about you. Be loyal to games. Games are the thing. We talk about it on the show, like the thing is the thing. That other stuff isn't the thing. Companies aren't the thing. The game is the thing. The people who make the actual games, they just work for these companies. Like, follow the creators. Like, who cares about Nintendo and Microsoft and Sony? They're just giant conglomerates who control media empires. Blah. I hate it.
Yeah, so that is why I think that maybe there will be some shifting away because of from a brand loyalty standpoint.
Okay. So, but do you think it's still a worthwhile system to collect for? Because now that the PS5 is out, people officially start to become collectors for an older console now, generation behind. Do you think people should collect for it? Does it matter, or should they avoid it? Like, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I think there's some fantastic titles on the PS4. Would I collect for PS4? No, I don't want my house to look like a fucking GameStop.
No, just general collecting. Again, just like you collecting the stuff you like. You think it's still a good idea to collect for?
For the collecting stuff I like, absolutely. For the value proposition, I don't know. Maybe.
Are you afraid to collect for it? Like, does this issue hit you in such a way where you're like, oh my God, I can't collect these. These things aren't things anymore. They're just coasters. Like, you don't care about this, right?
No, because I mean, we've always had that fear about everything, and some things have come true. Like, I dabble, and Tyler is much more into big box PC collecting, right? And that's generally, unless you want to like go and like put together hardware, that is by and large you buying coasters, right? And some stuff it is absolutely you buying coasters, and or like if I buy something on like a game on a 5 1/4 floppy. I don't know, Tyler, maybe you feel differently, but like when I buy a big box PC game on like a 5 1/4 floppy, I have no expectation that that game will work, nor do I try most of the time. It's like, okay, is this an original printing of this disc from the manufacturer? Great, check.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't have a fear of that because it's something that we've been dealing with for a while. If you collect more than just like NES games and popular stuff.
So I'm the same as you. I go in expecting basically PC boxes, coasters. Great thing to call them. If I'm installing a floppy game onto my old hardware, it's like an event. It's like, okay, it's Saturday. We've got all day. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to install all 11 discs of Rex Nebular and the Cosmic Gender Bender, and we're going to play this on Windows 95.
156 3 1/4 floppies for OS2 warp. Let's do it.
Like 99% of the time, I'm going to GOG and I'm just playing it on my regular computer. Sorry if I'm a terrible retro computer elitist by playing in DOSBox, but that's what I do all the time. In terms, like, I'm not scared. Like, people are saying, like, all your Sega Saturn games are gonna disc rot themselves out of existence in 10 years or whatever. And yeah, I'm not worried at all about
similar
that.
Issue. Yeah.
There will always be a way. If I need to play a game, there will always be a way to play it. That way is probably piracy and probably custom firmware. But if I need to play a game, I will always be able to play it. And that will always be the case for essentially every game ever, except for MMOs and stuff like that. And even then, there's private service for MMOs. So what am I talking about?
Like collectors are, what's it called? Oh God, City of Heroes. I was playing that. It's not like that game wasn't shut down and died. And like, guys, this is fine. Don't let this throw you off. Like, this is, I'm glad you brought up the computer issue. If you've ever collected for that, you weren't like, that's not the thing. You're collecting the physical object. The gameplay can happen anywhere. That you are buying these things. Like right now, yeah, a lot of people are buying their games to play. I often buy games that I do want to play as well, even though you may not believe that. I have the idea that maybe one day I will play this, but I don't worry that someday they'll go away or be dead because, as Tyler was saying, there's always a way to play the game. Like, that's just not a concern you should really have. It's not valid, and there are plenty of ways to get around this stuff, so... relax. I've seen a lot of panic, not so much from our listeners, but suddenly I was getting like messages on Instagram from people just being like, what do you think about this? How's this going to happen? Like, should I sell all my PS4 stuff? And, if people start selling all their PS4 stuff, if there's a panic right now and people are selling, buy at the bottom and then, reap your rewards later, because I'm sure the opinion on it will change, as quick as the opinions on Twitter.
So I have kind of thoughts for two groups of people. So there's going to be the theoretical future collector of PS4 in essentially 15 to 20 years when people are like nostalgic for the PS4. Probably closer to 20 years. Because like people are collecting games now who already collect games, and that would be the other group. There are so many factors affecting what people are going to collect in like 20 years, like impossible to predict what those people are going to be like. People are essentially kids now playing this stuff. Not only are they playing more mobile games, they're probably playing more games in general, as opposed to us, playing, when we got like a Nintendo game, it's like, we're going to play that game for 2 months, or maybe 6 months. And that's the game we have. Whereas there's so much free stuff. There's so much other just nonsense. You can go on ebgames.com and buy literally all of the best PS3 games ever made. Maybe not now anymore, but like all the best games, like all the Uncharted's, all the God of War, they are 99 cents on ebgames.com. They've had a very different experience growing up. They're also not attached to physical media. They probably bought half their games digitally, if not all their games digitally. And all the major games they're growing up with, Minecraft, Fortnite, Dota, League of Legends, Roblox, Apex Legends, Rocket League, none of these are physical games. They may have had some bullshit physical release for like poor people who don't have internet, but like 99% of people are just getting digital versions of these games, so that's what they're used to. So whether or not they'll collect physical media at all, I think is up in the air.
I think that's pretty valid.
So much stuff going on like that. I'm so interested to know what kids now will be like as collectors in 20 years. It's going to be so crazy.
They will be collecting digital files, like JPEGs maybe, of pictures of the covers of games instead of the games.
I know you're making an NFT joke. I do. That's my best prediction on what the future is. I don't think they'll be collecting physical objects. I think they will be collecting, like hard drives at that point will be so huge. They will just be collecting all physical data, like all data of all pop culture that's ever affected them. They will have every TV series, every movie they've ever watched, every video game they've ever wanted to play, and it'll just be on one giant data server, and whoever has the biggest collection of data wins. I think that will be a thing, even though it's free, and it's all going to be piracy.
It's weird too. Like earlier in the show, not this episode, but like, I don't know, maybe episode 20-ish or stuff, I talked about when physical media goes away and like how people will collect and like how game companies will respond with like non-physical objects to still drive collecting. So I think there will still be incentives, right? Like I think
non-fungible tokens.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
people will want to own a box with the download code in it if that's the only thing.
Or not, maybe not even a box. Like now, the onset of NFTs, like I said, like you might get like a little digital something or other. I didn't know obviously what NFTs were back then, but like I mentioned that. So now, like imagine buying it and you just get an NFT, and we've talked about this in other episodes too. Now, like you buy this game, if you buy it from the PSN store, you get this NFT. If you buy it from Best Buy, you get this exclusive one. If you buy their digital code, so like it's going to be that kind of stuff. And so I'm curious to see if people do collect digital objects now for real, like, and if NFTs is help smoothing out those waters to make it real, because now there's a great amount of money behind it. So I'm curious if that happens. But I think
there's so much bullshit in the NFT market is probably going to hurt digital collecting. But maybe I'm just being a negative Nancy.
Maybe you are. I don't know.
So, Johnny, the other people I was thinking about are us. People who are already collecting video games. People who may already have hundreds or thousands of video games in their collection. Should they not collect PS4?
Not me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Not Stefan. Stefan doesn't own any video games.
That is true.
Should they stop collecting PS4 because they're worried that in 10 years, 15 years, they might not be able to play their games? No, because no one here needs to play PS4 games. God of War, The Last of Us 2, all the good games on PS4, 100% are going to be remastered. That's just what happens now. Games are like movies. They spent $85 million making God of War. Who knows? It feels like more than Avatar making The Last of Us 2. That game will be available in the future. If it's not already available on PS5, I don't even know.
Well, they've announced that they're like working on a remaster of Last of Us 1 on the PS5. And the up-resed PS5 version is coming of Last of Us 2. So we're already there.
Yeah. The other thing, if you have a giant collection of Atari games or NES games, you can take them all off the shelf. You can like literally play NES games for 10 minutes at a time and get a pretty good idea of what that game is. You put in a PS4 game, it like installs an update, and then you go into a tutorial, and then the games themselves are like 20 hours long, or they're like an open world with endless quests. You're not going to play a little bit of 1,000 PS4 games. It's just not a humanly playable library, especially if you're already interested in other games. So if you're already collecting games, PS4 games, 99% of them are already going to be coasters to you. So who cares if you can play them in the future? Because guess what? You're never going to play them anyway.
Yep. It's going to just be about owning the original item.
Yep.
The original thing.
Yeah. And like the ones you want to play, The Last of Us 2 will be on the PlayStation 9. You can get it on the PSN store in 2090, whenever that's, that's bad math, but
yeah, it is bad math. All right.
Also, PS4, irrelevant in gaming history. Better than PS3, worse than PS5. Who cares? Not really important moment. Who cares?
Is it better than PS4? I mean, better than PS3? PS3 became a rock solid system.
Oh,
started out really bad.
I'm not dissing the PS3. I'm just saying, like, the graphics, the gameplay, everything's just like a little more refined. It wasn't like the PlayStation is here, games are 3D, here are new genres. It's just like, it's the PS4.
It's an incremental. We're in the day and age of incremental upgrades as we go along, not like huge game changing. Hopefully that happens again.
It's the Windows 2000 of consoles. It's like, yeah, you could go back to Windows 2000. I guess it's there.
And plus, all the best PS3 games came out on the PS4 anyways. So maybe the PS4 is just better now. Who knows? Okay. Yeah, I don't have anything more to say about that. Do you? Like, people, don't worry about this. Settle down. It's going to be fine.
Yeah. Collect your coasters. Or just don't collect PS3.
Yeah, and don't collect PS4. Who cares?
PS4, that's what I meant.
And as always, I just want to give a gentle reminder to people, because I got a couple of like weird messages over the weekend. I just want to tell you guys, hey, Collector's Quest makes recommendations. We talk about things. We express our opinions. Those are ours. You should always definitely collect what you like. That is the paramount driving idea that is above the show always. Collect what you like. So if we're like, man, you should not buy Atari games, they are trash. That's me speaking. And you love Atari, then go collect Atari. Override to the first rule, not what Johnny is saying in the episode. We have a bigger message. So collect what you like. That's, if you're ever wondering if you're collecting the right thing, are you collecting what you like? Tyler did an awesome video about collecting what you like. We've talked about it on the show now twice, and on previous episodes.
You can hype it.
Yeah. So check it out. It's really
Dennis
good.
Kahn likes that video. So.
Oh. Well, he watches your videos, but not listen to our episodes.
Dennis Kahn watched the first 10 minutes of my video. He is a busy man.
Yeah. Also, this show is like forever long, so how could we expect anyone?
Look. If Dennis was a busy man, people would be getting their games back. That's all I'm saying.
Oh.
Whoa.
Shots Too bad he'll never listen to the show to hear that burn. That is the most common criticism of WADA games.
Sick burn.
Yeah.
Sick burn.
Also, if you think WADA times are bad, go look at trading cards. Shut up about it already.
Go submit a card to PSA. Oh, you can't because they had to stop accepting submissions because there's a mountain of cards over there.
Yeah, man, if I don't hear any more whining about that, just like send it in. Yeah, I know what everyone's worried about. Like, I just spent all this money and I need to make all that money back by selling this thing. When am I going to get it back? Just relax, guys. Relax.
I'm really texting him right now. I'm talking about you on the podcast. FYI.
Stefan's flexing that personal contacts with Dennis Kahn. Pawn Star celebrity Dennis Kahn.
Hold on, who's here now? What? Did someone invite me to the show?
There you go.
That was a Fat Cat checking in. Fat Cat sighting.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
He hasn't been around for a little while.
Well, I mean, he's always here, really, but...
I mean, in spirit.
And forever in my heart. Forever in my heart. All right, let's move on. Oh my God, we could wrap a show in under 2 hours, guys. Let's do it. Go.
By the way,
no, what?
By the way, I don't know if you saw Casual Cart do the Fat Cat Stefan NFT on a video game stage, but it is choice.
Yes. Shout out to Casual Cart, the resident video game sage artist who makes lots of funny cartoons that are very high quality and just posts them in forum threads, which is
you don't have to ask for it. He just like makes them and sends them to you. Yeah.
I don't know. I've never been so blessed. So I know you guys have Casual Cart arts. I'm not really worthy of any art either. So let's not.
Well,
I don't have anything that.
Now he's going to draw something with that context.
Yeah.
So
just the most boring looking art you can think of. Just like basically a squiggle on a white piece of paper is me represented as art. Cool. Guys, I want to know what you're buying. And I want to know if you played anything, because this is officially the second part of the show. Tyler, go ahead.
Johnny, I bought Isaac Asimov's Science Adventure 2 for DOS.
I take it back. Stefan, talk about anything.
okay.
Let me explain a small rabbit hole that I've a collector's trap, if you will, that I've fallen into. So I purchased. I don't remember if it's the first game I remember playing. Like second grade, that seems a little late to be my first game. When do people start playing games, Johnny? I don't know. How old would you be in second grade?
I played my first game.
Childhood computer game. 3D dinosaur
I have like my strongest video game memory is Combat, and that was second grade. Of like one that I sat down and played myself and like didn't need my parents' help. But I remember playing Crystal Caverns before that in the house before that. And so Combat, not my first game memory. It's like a very specific first by myself gaming experience. So I would say first grade, probably first grade. Also, I was a year early. So mind you, I was like 5 at the time.
Okay. Actually, I remember playing a game in kindergarten. It was a Pac-Man clone on there were Macintosh computers maybe. And I've tried, I've like posted on Reddit. I cannot get people to tell me what this Pac-Man clone is. That might be my earliest gaming memory. Anyway, second grade gaming memory, 3D Dinosaur Adventure, just super nostalgic game. No one gives a shit about this game because everyone was playing Oregon Trail in their childhood. This was my Oregon Trail. So during my like, why am I not just buying the games I think are the most important phase that I'm in right now? It's one of the games I bought a few weeks ago. And you turn around the box. It's a hexagonal box. So in addition to being a nostalgic childhood game, weird shaped PC game boxes are collectible. So it's doubly cool.
Is that a thing? Weird shaped boxes are collectible?
Oh, 100%. Like if you have Day of the Tentacle, which comes in like the triangle cylinder, that's like $1,000. Like maybe like 500 to 1,000. It's something crazy.
Oh, wow.
We love like Thief and Thief 2 and the Tomb Raider game. All those IDOS games.
All the IDOS stuff.
Yeah. Get those cool trapdoor boxes. Final Fantasy 7 and 8.
Yeah, I have both of them in the dumb boxes.
Anyway.
PC, that I mean, the fact that was so fascinating to me that whole phenomenon was just driven by the retail space on the shelf.
Yeah.
Like the PC games were just competing with each other for shelf space, so they kept making bigger and weirder boxes.
It's so good. It could have just been like a terrible, boring jewel case.
It's just like, well, and it's such an American phenomenon too. Like it's just like, yeah, sure, that's exactly how that happened.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I'm glad they took like the building of cars mentality from the 1950s and 60s into computer boxes.
Yeah.
Computer game
well, and
boxes.
they did that shit with consoles too. Like the PC engine and the Turbo graphics are vastly different in size, except they're the same console.
That's ridiculous.
So stupid. Guys, we don't have infinite space. Anyways, go on, Tyler. Tell us. You turned over the back of your stupid hexagonal box.
Yes, and so there's 8 games there. So there's 3D Dinosaur Adventure and 7 other games. And I'm like, hot diggity, there's more of these. I want to collect all 8 games. So I start buying these. They're like $20 to $30 each. And then a few days ago, just randomly in my eBay saved searches for just like random PC stuff, I see Bug Adventure. Bug Adventure is not on the back of my box, Johnny, and it's in one of these cool hexagonal boxes. And so I look up what Knowledge Adventure made for DOS, and there's like at least 20 games. And I'm kind of already locked in because I've already bought like 7 of them. Wait. I just have to keep buying this set of games that I don't
Tyler,
care about.
Stop.
Tyler,
stop.
No.
Tyler, I have a question.
What's up?
You said there were how many games on the back of the box?
8 games on the back of the box.
Okay. Johnny, how long do you think it took or will take Tyler to buy all those games?
Oh, I mean, depending on if some of them are hard to find. I'll say
so
it'll have
it's absolutely
80%.
not that I'm spacing out me paying for it. It's just that like weird, obscure edutainment games don't come up that often. Yeah. Like as soon as they come up, I buy them.
I seriously expected that story to be like, I saw them on the back of the box, and then within 30 minutes, I'd bought them all.
Oh, no. If I could have done that, I would have bought them all.
I know you would.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. I was going to say, it's not for a lack of desire or money. It's for a lack of ability to find.
Yeah.
I have come to realize that Tyler is like 2017 Stefan. Like that's
I'm buying
like
SOS for
all of the dumb jokes
prices
that you guys would like throw at me. I can now throw at Tyler, and it kind of feels good. I gotta say.
All right.
Anyway, that was my joke thing I wanted to bring up because it was stupid. I got a New Leaf cartridge just on eBay because now you can get those because they found more of them. I guess I don't know.
They found more again?
Not again. Like in the past few years, I don't even know how many came up. Like a dozen were found or something. Like were more than that found? I don't know.
No, it was less than that. It was like 8. or something.
Okay, but like in the realm of New Leaf, this was talked about like such a mythical, unobtainable thing, and then they're like, someone found 8 more. Fuck it.
Yeah, it was like right after I paid the most that one's been paid for, I think.
Yeah. So like I've seen people talk about this like it's $1,000, $2,000 cartridges like before, like when like single digits were known to be out there, as far as I know. Like collectors didn't even know this existed. I guess I'll explain what it is if people don't know what it is. Blockbuster they were test marketing a service where they would take a flash cartridge and burn your rental game to it over a dial-up. So rather than just getting a copy of Sonic 2, they would burn it to this New Leaf cartridge. And then that turned into the Game Factory program. And the Game Factory cartridges are somewhat easier to find. The New Leaf cartridges are very rare. Apparently only like a few stores in Columbia, South Carolina had them. And yeah, I got one. It has Echo the Dolphin on it. It's
Yo, Echo.
Yeah, Johnny's got an Echo. What's up? Oh, Stefan, do you have a New Leaf cartridge with Echo on it? Finally, I have something with a pair on someone on the show, and I'm not the odd one out who doesn't have like Heartbeat Personal
Stefan,
Trainer.
Do you have any Genesis games?
Anyway, it's like the only game, like literally the only game I could think of that has gone down in value like significantly in the past few years. People do not care about it. And that's awesome because I still think it's a cool thing.
Yeah, I think I actually didn't. There was a $2,000 sale on one, but I think I only paid $800. So
yeah, I paid like $550, something like that.
Yeah,
it's going down. New Leaf's going to zero, guys.
It went down. Well, I mean, there was a time when those bundles were sold, and I told you to first buy them, and you were like, "Nah, I don't care about that."
I feel like I did do that. Like I was probably still like heavily collecting the set, and I'm like, I need to focus my budget on the set. And now that the set's done, I'm like, give me everything I don't have.
This isn't furthering my collecting goals, Johnny.
Yeah,
that's my Tyler.
Yeah, I mean,
well, that's my excuse when I don't want to buy something, Stefan. It's a very convenient excuse.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, they were selling as low as like 300 for a minute.
Yeah. Our Patreon patron, SNK2D Forever, sold one to Jonebone for that much, I think.
Yeah.
And then Jonebone posted on my Instagram and said, no one cares about these anymore. I already sold mine. I like
that. That's about right. Yeah.
I got the Metal Gear Solid premium packages, Johnny. Oh, calling back to something I said on the show an hour ago. I'm a video game investor because in Japan, there was a Metal Gear Solid premium package, which is like a big box release of Metal Gear Solid that comes with like a t-shirt, keychains, and garbage like that. And the gold box version of it was only given to Konami shareholders. So it's called like the Stockholder Commemorative Edition, something like that. Comes with a little note that thanks you for being a Konami stockholder. True video game investing, Johnny, would be owning Konami stock.
Okay.
And I love Metal Gear Solid, so I think it's super cool.
Those are pretty cool. I'm glad that you got both of them.
Yeah. And so the silver one is just the regular poor people one that you would go buy at a store if you're like a consumer. And then, so the silver one was also released in Europe. And it's like 4 times the price of the stockholder edition, as far as I know. It's like a super expensive PlayStation thing because people want the English language one. Japan doesn't matter. I don't know if you guys have heard. But yeah, the most collectible version is actually the European silver box premium package.
You know, there's tiers within European collecting too, right? Like, which region is the best region to buy from?
Yes, European collecting is full of tiers. You are correct.
Yeah, I think you like sent me a book I have to buy to like understand like just PAL A NES games or something.
Yeah, PAL A and PAL B was a convention for NES games.
And English language is good. And
yeah, English language, but specifically, at least with a lot of like Nintendo stuff, Scandinavian code ones, that's like a -SCN, where it has English text, but Scandinavian language inside the game, but like all the text on the front is English, I believe. Maybe even the game is in English. I'm not exactly sure on that. But anyways, it has the SCN code, and I know we have some listeners over there who will correct me. But then there's the SWE code, so like for Sweden. So that one's fine, but the Scandinavian code is the one that is the hotness. That's the one that the Bucks live in, And then after that, I think it's anything with like the UK code because, again, English language.
It feels like we should have someone from Europe on the show to explain it all to us because I am super interested and I never want to own any of it.
Yeah, I did a real big deep dive, and it would be good to get one of our European friends to come talk us through. But even because Europe is so, I mean, it's like all right on top of each other, and people travel in between those borders. But like as far as those gaming things, it's very segregated, and people used to think like, and I would say, I'm like, oh, it's a country code. It's not really a country code. It's more of a region and language code than it is specific to a country, right? Because you'll get like an HOL for Holland, which will cover places in Denmark and Belgium, and then Germany can have that. Like it gets weird, right? Because of the way the languages are, because those codes very specifically refer to language of the text on the box or in the game or on the manual. And that's where you can have different codes. Like if you can have a game that has a UK code on the cart. I'm sorry, that's not going to be correct. You can have a EUR for Europe, like a general Europe code, because the cart will have multiple languages installed inside of it, but the box will be, German, like it'll be a German box or a French box, FRA, right? But then the manual will be in French. So the box might have 4 languages on the back. So it might have the general EUR code, but then only the manual has an FRA code on it because really that was the version they sold in France. Like it gets very confusing.
Yeah, I could tell you went down a really big rabbit hole with this while you were talking about it. And I'm surprised you didn't just give up and go buy some Game Boy Advance games.
I dug deep. I posted on Instagram, and hey, thanks to everyone who responded. I don't know. I can't remember if I thanked the people who did help me, because, I'm dabbling over there and I'm buying games from over there. So I really want to understand, because I feel like American collectors, we've got it so easy. Like over here, I say American as in North American, like we got pretty much 2-ish, 3-ish codes here, but everything is basically in English and has like half of them have really Spanish easy, and French
Johnny.
in there.
If it says -CAN on it, throw it out.
Yeah. But there are a few that are like for Mexico only, but like even a lot of the ones that went to Canada just had the USA code on it still. Like everything is like all easy. It's like, can you imagine if New York had different releases than us? And we were trying to figure out, and also a different language. That's crazy. Yeah. And then you think, well, New York is the opposite side of California, like for me. But what if Nevada, which is right next to California for people who don't know their geography or aren't from here, what if Nevada suddenly had a different language and a different code? That's how Europe is. And I can't imagine trying to figure all that out without help. It is.
And there would be messy. Way less of everything you want because the populations of each individual area is so much smaller, Johnny. It just seems crazy.
Oh, and tariffs and trade deals. Like, what a mess.
Oh my God, my Brexit packages have to be inspected. They have to take the video game tax and VAT. I'm just saying, I don't know if any of that's true. I'm just saying.
I don't think so. Usually we don't get charged. The VAT. But you do in Europe. Anyways, that's a long rabbit hole to go down, but yeah, European stuff. Whew, what a mess. Anyways, people don't care about New Leaf. Go buy one. What else you got?
Yeah, well, the last thing I talked about was the Metal Gear Solid packages, which were cool too.
Nope, don't care.
Those are the cool things I got, Johnny.
Those are pretty good things. They are pretty cool.
Looking for Isaac Asimov's Science Adventure 1, which is the same exact game, just it was re-released as Science Adventure 2 because they're scamming you. I think that's Stefan, true. Don't hold me to it.
Stefan, what did you buy? I know you bought something.
I did buy.
You maybe even bought it. Did you buy a game?
What, video games?
Did I buy a video game?
I think you did.
Is there something that you're thinking of that I'm... Oh, yeah. Hey, my Dark Crystal game. I didn't buy that really. It just, because limited run takes forever. So I bought that a while ago and it just showed up. But I bought that. So, I scaled way back on buying limited run stuff. I used to buy a lot of it and now I buy very little. But I do like supporting brands and my friends. And actually, not only do I love the Dark Crystal, but I have a friend who is the producer on that game for the Switch. So I two reasons why I wanted to support that game. So I bought that the special edition, and I am was not really that thrilled by the special edition stuff. You know, the typical trappings of limited run boxes not being great, but then also they did like a Fizzgig plush, and they pretty much like screen printed his face on there, which is it came out looking like a cheap dog toy, honestly. And so I was not thrilled with the quality. Yeah, I was not thrilled with the quality of the Fizzgig dog toy. But there was a nice pin. There was a nice pin that it's the Dark Crystal. And then and you know, I do love the game, so there you go. Okay. That's a game I bought. But I did buy a lot of Johnny. This was actually this last couple weeks was actually pretty a lot. Functionally, I bought a new flat file that I'm actually really excited about. If anyone doesn't know what a flat file is, they're filing cabinets that are made for storing documents flat. They're used a lot in like architecture and that kind of thing, but also used in the world of art collection. And so now I have a place to put my art that I wasn't necessarily.
Cool. You bought a filing cabinet. So
yeah,
boring.
It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful filing cabinet.
I bought drawers.
Yep. I like
thin drawers. Thin,
all right.
wide,
you want to get
drawers.
crazy? You want to get crazy, Johnny? I also bought a 5th World of Nintendo cabinet. Is that better?
Okay, but why? Didn't you just try and get rid of one?
What?
No.
Was it from Chris?
No.
Oh.
Was Chris selling a World of Nintendo cabinet?
Yes.
Why? Why? That's not a Nintendo Power object.
Anyway.
No, but it is a nice aesthetic piece for my game room, and I needed another cabinet. So
to house all the games you don't own?
No, I house lots of other things besides games in those cabinets because they make for not such wonderful display pieces.
Okay.
So about that, I bought a Star Fox statue, the big like 4-foot vintage motherfucker. Bought that.
Cool.
That was cool.
Yeah. You like Star Fox?
I do.
I hate those statues. I hate them. I think they're so ugly and stupid looking.
I agree. But I think Stefan would like it, so I'm saying cool.
Yeah, Yeah. This is because someone called Tyler out for yucking someone's yum, so he's trying to be extra respectful right now.
Got it. Well, that's good.
No, I'll call that out on the show. I don't care.
I FOMO bought a couple things. I had tickets. I've got these untorn tickets for PowerFest Nintendo World Championships, and I wanted to frame those with the poster that I didn't have, and like I decided that now was the time to buy the poster before it gets all crazy. So I did buy a PowerFest poster. I also FOMO bought a variant for Nintendo Power #1 that I didn't have, because people are like grading these books now and getting crazy. So I bought that variant because I was like, okay, I just don't want it to be a $1,000 book for no reason.
What's the variant? Because I don't know what the variant is.
It's instead of where it says free poster, it says sample copy.
Okay.
So I did not have the sample copy variant. It's just one of those things where I figured they would be there forever because they will be there forever because they printed millions of copies. Whatever. Another thing that I thought was kind of neat was that so in issue 4 of Nintendo Power, they have a spread for a Sesame Street game, and they, rather than drawing the Sesame Street characters, they have these little like pictures of like at first I thought they had like actually sculpted these statues. I figured out that they were just vintage toys. And so I went and I found these vintage toys that they photographed for this spread, and so I just thought it would make a cool little display. So I bought those. And then the other big thing I bought was there was a Dark Horse Shadows of the Empire comic, and when Shadows of the Empire was being promoted in Nintendo Power, they ran pages of that comic in the magazine, and so I tracked down the first published page. It's not the first page of the first issue, but it's the first page that they published in Nintendo Power. So I found that, and I was able to acquire that as well. So that was the big art purchase, was the Shadows of the Empire page.
It's pretty awesome looking. You showed me. It was nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. Yep. That's all I bought.
That's it.
Oh,
just
no.
a Nintendo
No,
Power
there's one more
Cabinet,
thing.
some unique art.
There's one more thing. So I mentioned before that like when this is going to be super fat cat. So I mentioned before
The others, hold on. You just talked about buying like one-off art and a Nintendo cabinet. And then now you're qualifying this, whatever this is, as this is going to be super fat cat?
It's going to sound super fat cat.
Okay.
It's like
Nintendo cabinet is like an aside. He was like, oh yeah, I got another World
I'm
Nintendo
walking
cabinet,
into this knowing
My fifth
that
one,
I'm
no
gonna
bigs.
catch on this. Usually, especially when I'm working with like retired Nintendo employees and stuff like that, if they have stuff when I'm transacting a deal with them, if they have stuff that I'm not interested in, usually I will ask them if they would like me to kind of find them a buyer for things. And so one of these gameplay counselors that I had been working with had a gray Samus counselor jacket, which is the first counselor jacket. It's there's like 50 of them. They're really difficult to find. Mine is a small, and that's always bothered me because I couldn't wear it. And so I had this counselor come and ask me if I would help him sell this jacket, and I said yes, of course. And then while I was like looking for a buyer, I go, hey, wait a minute, what size is that? And he says it's a large. So I go, I guess I'm buying this jacket. So I bought the jacket that I was going to then resell for him instead. So now I have 2 gray gameplay counselor Metro jackets, but one of them fits me and I will be wearing regularly.
Yeah. That's a variant. You can't sell the other one. They're different objects, Stefan.
Well, but the thing is I don't want to because I am going to wear it and I just don't want the one to get irrevocably ruined through wearing it and then not have a sort of a museum example.
A museum example, Johnny.
Okay, wow.
When I'm talking about things in my collection,
I always
make sure to buy 2 to keep one as the museum example.
I told you.
I know you do art shows and you're big shot man. You're a big shot man, Stefan.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be, I'm changing my Instagram handle.
Good words. Yeah, you did it. You big shot man, you good.
You do art shows and stuff.
Tyler, all right. Are you tired? You all right over there, bud? Feeling okay?
It's only 1:30. The Collector's Quest time, like we would still be like preparing to start the show normally. Right. This is a breezy episode.
That's not exaggerating.
Yeah, but I made sure that didn't happen this time. So boom. Anyway. I guess I'll talk about what I bought. Not that it's going to be that thrilling after those kind of examples, but here we go anyways. Hey guys, I bought a bunch of Wii games, so that was something. Hey, thanks Retro Game Trader for selling me 39 Wii games to reduce the amount of Wii games I still need to have a set. Woo!
You got to be close now, right?
I'm like 100 away. So
I thought you were 100 away the last time we asked you.
I was like 150. Now I'm like 120. Actually, I'm like 111 away. So it's still like 100. It's just nebulous. It's under 200, but more than 100. So we're still in that zone. But getting closer. And I bought like 5 or 6 other like random ones that I just saw for like $5. So I was like, oh, let me just get these out of the way. I bought something real dumb that I'm excited that finally came. I bought Ready to Rumble Boxing, the All-Star version. So now my All-Star version for the Dreamcast is complete. Woo!
Look, Johnny, if you're excited about it, it cannot be dumb.
I'm just glad that the set is done now because there's been a space on that shelf for it for several years. And, it's not like it's so rare or anything. I just finally decided to spend the money on it and be like, I better just take care of this. I got to that point. So
make sure you get to the point where you feel like you have to buy things, kids. That's how you know you're collecting right.
Man, I've got a really exciting purchase for you guys coming up. You both are going to love this one. This isn't it, though. I will tell you that I also bought Def Jam Fight for New York on the PlayStation.
Oh.
Because, or the PlayStation 2.
Cashing in.
Well, I got it when I heard he was not doing well, so I got it because that game is very expensive now.
Well, that's Stefan.
I've learned. I'm like, oh, they say he's not going to recover. Def Jam is already expensive. If I want this stupid one, I already thankfully have it for the Xbox. So I was like, I grabbed the PlayStation 2 one just in case because X is no longer going to give it to you guys. That's
wow.
Is that too much? Should I go back to dad jokes?
Arguably, X had it taken from him.
Yeah, he is no longer going to give it to you.
To explain this to someone who needs this explained, DMX just died, if you're listening to this in 2026, and Def Jam Fight for New York, I believe you bought. You fight DMX in that game. He is in that game.
Yeah.
Maybe most prominently of the Def Jam games. I'm not a big Def Jam guy.
And
I don't
X Going Give It To You is a song by DMX.
Well,
and because he is
okay, we're going to explain that much of it. Let's go. Okay,
I just want to keep making the joke go longer.
DMX is a rapper who barks like a dog, but has also been prosecuted for not treating his dogs that he killed very well.
Yeah,
because he killed them.
Yeah,
killed, neglected. I don't know, man.
And well, X apparently gave it to them because they
damn
did.
It. Wow. Dude, Jesus. Somehow this feels worse than when you're bringing up dead relatives. I don't know.
Rather talk about
because we don't know DMX.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well,
I think he was like a success story of turning his life around. So really, he should be celebrated, and we shouldn't bring up his problems. But I don't know.
I don't know. I don't care about his current state, his future transgressions, past transgressions. The man died. Sorry for his family and everything. The other thing I bought has not arrived yet, but I hope it comes and it's okay. I'm dumb happy for this one. And yeah, the thing I bought that you guys are going to enjoy. Okay, guys, I bought an ET for the Game Boy Color, and then I bought one for the Game Boy Advance because I'm on that Game Boy Advance train.
Yeah.
So here's the problem. The box is white, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it should just be like, it's got some design on it, but it should just be all white. And I saw something that looked like Edgeware, and I didn't take a good look at it. I was just like, oh, it's like $12. Let me buy it. Guys, it came and it has mold on it, so I put it in the trash. These little spots were mold spots.
Because that's what you should do with moldy games.
We talk about mold on the show an awful lot.
Put them in the trash, not in your collection.
You know what else I did? I put it in a sealed bag so no one else has to deal with that shit.
Good on you, Johnny. I would have doused it in something to kill the mold, like bleach. I would have just bleached it, put it in a bag, and then put it in the trash. Make sure that doesn't get anywhere in my house.
No, you wouldn't. No, because that qualifies as getting rid of something, and you don't do that. You would not.
I have
moldy wood.
What's that? There's like a really common new old stock BMX biking game for the Game Boy Color. I have a shitty complete in box copy of it. I'm thinking about throwing it out, Stefan.
Okay.
All right.
So I'm thinking about
Dave Mira.
You let me know when you throw it out.
Yeah. So yeah, I was like, nope, this thing can go away. So yeah, that made it to the trash. I was proud of myself. I'm like, this is $12. I'm putting it in the trash. And I didn't call the guy out on it because he said, if I would have been careful and looked, I would have saw it. This was my fault.
Well, this wasn't Power of Video Games showing you a stock image, for example.
Yeah, no, I fought them. They still don't believe that their first image was blurry. I gave them a negative feedback, an honest negative feedback. I gave them a proper review of my experience with them. And hey, it turns out they weren't happy about it. You would think with someone with 20,000 feedback or whatever they have, wouldn't give a shit about one negative review because they have so many positives. This is like a mere drop in the bucket. And caring about when your customers say something negative or have a negative experience is more reflective of a company that cares about people, which we know Power Up Video Games definitely doesn't. And this communication they gave me was not an indicator of their care of my bad experience. It was they just wanted me to get that negative feedback I dropped on them gone, right? They weren't really interested in fixing the solution. So I gave them a wordy response. They're like, can't we just fix this with a return? I'm like, my experience is still negative. I'm not going to just return it to you. Sorry. No, that's not how this is working. That's not a resolution for me. That doesn't give you a positive feedback just because you offered a solution to the problem you created. Anyways, about their blurry picture, Stefan, and I'll show it to you. So they said in their response, the first picture, they're like, our photos are HD photos. I'm like, maybe it's HD, but you took a bad quality picture because it's like a little blurry and I couldn't see the damage. And the back one is a much better looking image. I offered them that I would revoke my feedback and give them positive glowing reviews forever if they got 5 people to look at that image. I'm like, the thing they wanted was that I'm like, tell you what, we can do blind. We just get 5 random people. And if they say that these 2 pictures are of the same visual fidelity, they are the same quality, I will take my feedback away. I will chalk it up to being, really tired or whatever, or angry, emotional, whatever it is. I'll take it back. I'll give you a positive review, 5-star all the way, and tell you you're great. They have not since responded or claimed the offer to get this feedback taken care of, though they swear they're both just HD and they don't know what I'm talking about. So, anyways, that was my experience with Power Up video games. They suck. All right. That's it. That's all I got. You got anything?
I don't got anything, Johnny. I learned that a lot of people who are in that video game Sage Survivor game listen to this show.
Oh,
and
really?
I'm not supposed to be talking about like secret tribe stuff, so can't talk about that anymore.
I was like, man, are you going to give us the Survivor update? But you're not.
Okay, here's the Survivor. Okay, fine. You know what? We'll probably vote him out today anyway.
Whoa,
this guy.
We're in tribal
I don't even know who it is.
now.
Don't know who it is, but this guy.
Oh, is
Man.
this the California? Is this the guy who failed you in California games?
I'm invested. I have no idea what we're talking about, but I'm here for it.
I'm in a Survivor game with video games, and I play them almost every day in Survivor challenges, Stefan. That's
All right.
Also, shout out to
know.
Defcode who
All right.
who also plays.
You're caught up. My tribe just lost the latest challenge. I've never been to tribal council because my tribe has always been a well-oiled machine. Not with me at the top, but with me as a decent cog in that machine. We had to play California games today. In California games. So we were basically taking the sum of all of the events in California games. In the BMX event, there is, I'm going to call it a glitch. It's a development oversight. You can essentially pedal really fast, brake, and then jump in place and do tricks forever. So you can max out your score at 999,999. So literally like the entire challenge is just you play the BMX game for 10 minutes, and if everybody did that, we would have won. That's all you need to do. It takes no skill. Easiest thing in the world. We figured it out right away. And then there was like some basic strategies that we all got together and crowd thought of the best way to play this. If everyone had taken 10 minutes and just did this strategy, we would have won. We lost by less than 100,000 points because not everyone in our tribe did this strategy. And like some of these people are playing on like web page emulators on their phone, and it's like, just do the thing we need to win. Anyway,
Who was
I'm in
it,
tribal
Tyler?
council.
Who was it?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say because so many people listen to this show, and I'm not supposed to be talking about
Say
it outside
Liz,
the thread.
Just say it and you can bleep it out. You're the editor.
Was it DMX? Is that why he's
was
dead?
not. It may have been Zelda fan 042 though.
Oh,
with his
fan, you duck!
500,000? You got 500,000? It takes 10 minutes. You just need to play for 10 minutes. It's a guaranteed 999,999. How did you it up? You said you played it for 2 hours.
Guess what, buddy? You're
10
not only
minutes.
going home from video game Sage Survivor, you're kicked off the whole webpage. You're out of the forums, bro. You out.
Off the internet, guy.
Anyway, so now we're in tribal council and everyone's like kind of talking, and I guess we're all right now pretending that we already don't know who we're voting off when everyone we all know who we're voting off. I mean, come on.
Awkward.
So that's what I've been playing.
I don't want to actually participate in this, but I somehow want to be connected to it so I can feed off this drama.
Tyler said he was going to be no drama, and here he is, embroiled in it instantly.
So you missed my first day, Stefan, where I was going in. I'm just like, yeah, I'll play video games every day. I like competing in old video game challenges. And we're getting put into tribes, and there's like alliances and crap in Survivor, and I'm like, I'm not getting involved in any of that nonsense. And in the very first game, players were given the option to privately get a hint at a hidden immunity idol in exchange for tanking their score, unbeknownst to the rest of the tribe. And someone in my tribe had such an unbelievably low score that it was like I 100% knew that they had taken the selfish option. I played myself, and the first time I played, I got 4 times their score. And then I was immediately in. I clicked. I'm like, oh my god, gotta get in secret threads. We gotta make alliances. What is going on, guys? We gotta make sure we get to the end and get this motherfucker out. That's what's going on in my life. No one cares about this. This shouldn't be on the podcast. But
All right,
Stefan, I will give you updates.
This is the most thrilling part of this podcast. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. All right. That's it for the show. Gentlemen.
Johnny, we got anything else? Are we just going to say our names?
Yep, we're just going to say our names and where we can find you. Go ahead, Tyler. Where can we find you?
You could find me on the videogamesage.com. Know the YouTube, Instagram. Send me a message on Instagram. Sometimes I get around to responding to it because I haven't been posting as much because posting stuff is hard.
Yep. Okay, and Stefan?
I am on Instagram sometimes at Archon1981, but most of the time I'm on Twitter and YouTube's at Art of NP or Art of Nintendo Power. One thing I did want to call out, because I think you can still go to the Completionist website.
Nope. Mm-mm.
What? I can't call out a charity event that I...
Yeah, that's right. No, I mean, if you're not going to promote our show, you don't get to promote other people's stuff. You're out.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Of course, go ahead.
So I did a charity live stream with Gerard the Completionist, benefiting. It was called Preserved Play. This was I promoted it the last time I was on the show, but then it was, I don't even think it aired by the time we had already done it. So anyway, it was benefiting the Video Game History Foundation. We raised over $70,000, which was awesome.
Congrats.
Thank you. And then, I mean, I played a very small part compared to some of the other people who participated, but I will still take the credit. Thank you. But yeah, so it was a great fundraiser, and I think you can still go to the Completionist website, and they're doing a book that's like the first 10 years, celebrating the first 10 years of the Completionist or something like that, and the proceeds to that book will also still go to the Video Game History Foundation. So you can still, even if you missed the live stream, and if you were there, then hi, and thank you for coming. But if you missed the live stream, you can still go to the Completionist website and buy that book and support the Video Game History Foundation. And of course, you can always donate to them by just going to gamehistory.org and donating directly.
Buy a random magazine.
Yeah.
Anyways, for me, you can find me at Instagram. You can find me on our Patreon as well. I'm Johnny _Iucci here on Instagram. And if you want to join our Patreon page, and get on our Discord, you can do that for as little as $2, but please don't donate more than $6 because, that we're good with these amounts. Anyways, that can be found at patreon.com/collectorsquest. Join us there. We got a good group of people, good conversations. Enough about that. And that's it for the show. Thank you all for listening. And Tyler will do some shout outs, which have been excellent. And yeah, that's it. Thanks. Bye.
That's our show. Thank you to the patrons: Richard, patron number 1, Bowden, high-end collector, Andrew Brim, 50 Hertz is good enough for me, Andre, Wada 9.8, A++, Benji, Brian Gupta, N Pocky, N Rocky with Becky, Mint Condition, Brian J. Mora, Sophisticated Investor, Cartmageddon, Canadian Variant Alert, Chris Glidden, Fat Cat Collector, Chris Jackson, Chris SNK, Too Many NES Accessories, Mrozek, Johnny's GBA Hookup, Coffee with Mr. Saturn, The Last Game You Need for the Set, Corey O'Brien, Unpunched Hang Tab, Dustin Beagle, The Actual Shinobi, Jasonic the Kid, Jeff the Game Boy Ferris, Lance Lord Hardstyle Z, The Degenerate, Matt Fall, Funkoland Employee, Platform Agnostic, read the Game Shark, The Famicom Box, Retro Game Enthusiast, Sean the Gamer Collective, Previously Unknown Variant, Tim Walker, can't put limits on collecting VG Collectaholic, the old-fashioned jewel prospector Andy Jelsleichter, you're gonna have to tell me if I pronounced that correctly, keeper of the Zelda variant 0x Def Code, the actually rare Bird Dog Gaming, Brandon Rogers, whose favorite episode is the wrestling episode, still finding deals in 2021 somehow, Colton Murphy, Derek Lauer, who made me edit this show, even though it's kind of late, Jeremy Jarvis, here for the Pog Talk, Jim Jacobs, world record holder of Best Collection, video game art collector because games are art, Justin Chichio, Michael, posted in the Discord right now, Chiaramonti, Nick the Video Game Database Morgan, the other guy who collects Korean releases, Peaceful Games, the promoter, Retro RPG Podcast, Tex, who collects for Jaguar, Tom, Obscure Variant Chaser Chase, getting the full PS2 set because Stefan won't, all caps, Andrew actually collecting N-Gage O, B-Nugs, Corhagen does what Nintendo don't, Daniel McArdle, who thought this was the Retronauts Patreon, the Xbox Authority, Danny Gomez, the Philatelist, Dork Overlord, my childhood PlayStation idol, Game-Rave.com, Joe actually plays his games champ Pity, Homebrew Mastermind, Nick Ryan, and Sean the Video Game Illuminati LaCroix. Thank you guys so much.